All right, another spark and another build. We're tuned to the Weave Core. Today, we're venturing past the familiar ground. We've talked about the elemental titans, born of fire and storm. We've covered the ancient lineages who inherited their power through tradition.
But the world of tools and titans is always evolving, often out of necessity. When the old ways aren't enough to hold back the darkness, you don't just need new tools, you need a new type of titan.
Today, we enter the realm of the Tool-Touched Quintrinity, a unique titan group born from something else entirely: enhancement, evolution, and the fusion of titanhood with advanced craft logic.
These aren't your standard titans. They're precision-forged anomalies, combining tradecraft with experimental augmentation. They are the absolute embodiment of transcendent design thinking. Think of them as the cutting edge of what a titan can be.
But before we begin, let's discuss the basics on how to play tools and titans.
So, how do you play tools and titans? Easy. Draw your cards, charge your energy, build your field, act with your powers, clash with your titans, end your turn. 6 steps, 1 epic battle.
Now let's get into it. Who exactly are the Tool-Touched Quintrinity? They are 5 titans who weren't born into their power in the traditional sense. Instead, they were uplifted. It was an experimental protocol, fusing elite tool systems, advanced blueprints, and even shard fragments of Forge Heart resonance directly into semi-sentient craftspeople. So they truly earned their titanhood. It wasn't a mythic birthright. It was achieved through sheer discipline, integration, and adaptation. Their names even reflect that fusion: Printheon, Aeroglyn, Codivance, Vesvaldr, and Revanael. A mix of their old personal identity and a new technological philosophy.
Exactly. They represent the next phase of Titankind. This isn't about raw elements anymore. This is about augmented intent. Their trades are complex, interdisciplinary, almost algorithmic. These are titans who actively forge themselves, constantly adapting new parts and updating their core philosophy through practice.
So what does that really mean, to fuse with a tool? Are they part machine, part person? How does that change their perspective on the world?
That's the core question they represent. They see the world not as elements to be commanded, but as systems to be optimized. A mountain isn't just earth. It's a structural challenge with load-bearing points. A storm isn't just wind. It's an aerodynamic flow that can be redirected. They think in blueprints and schematics.
Let's break down who is in this Quintrinity again, but with that new lens. First, Printheon.
Printheon is high-fidelity 3D fabrication. Don't just think of a 3D printer. Think of a titan who can perfectly recreate a destroyed artifact from blueprint memory or fabricate battlefield fortifications in real time.
Toolin, Aeroglyn, precision aircrafting.
They understand aerodynamic structural logic on a mythic level. They can craft vehicles that defy physics or manipulate wind currents to create impossible tactical advantages. Their creations are less built, more sculpted by the wind itself.
Codivance. This one sounds tricky.
Collaborative code flow and AI tool fusion. Codivance perceives reality as lines of code. They can write automation scripts for other tools on the battlefield, creating chain reactions that are devastatingly efficient.
Vesvaldr, vault-scale machining.
This is about deep frame calibration and interior assembly. Vesvaldr builds things from the inside out. They can reinforce a structure to make it nearly indestructible or assemble complex machinery deep within a stronghold hidden from the enemy.
And finally, Revanael.
Reactive design and adaptive repair theory. Revanael is the ultimate troubleshooter. They don't just repair what's broken, they redesign it on the fly to be better. They see damage not as a failure, but as feedback for the next evolution.
So when did this all happen? A group this advanced must have a pretty specific origin story.
It was a dark time. They emerged after the second Rustborn incursion. The world was reeling, struggling to reclaim technology that had been corrupted. The existing titans were powerful, but they were fighting a war of attrition. The Advanced Restoration Initiative was formed out of desperation.
And their origins are tied to a specific place, right? The Forge Path Spire.
That's the one. An experimental arcane mechanical accelerator. It was a controversial project designed to explore a dangerous question. What happens when you merge a person's will, a tool's function, and raw energy all at once?
And 5 elite trade champions volunteered for this. Not soldiers, craftspeople.
The best of the best. A master machinist, a visionary coder, an ace pilot, a genius fabricator, and a legendary repair technician. They submitted themselves to a full interface bonding within the Spire's core. The experiment was explosive.
And they did not return as mortals. They returned as the Tool-Touched.
A new form of Titan, each now governing a facility that reflects their function. These aren't just strongholds, they are adaptive workshops, always changing, upgrading, or optimizing themselves. Printheon's Memory Forge, Aeroglyn's Wind Calyx Tower, Codivance's Iteration Rings, they are living extensions of the Titans themselves.
Every Titan turn, draw, charge, building act, clash, end, 6 steps, infinite ways to forge your victory.
Okay, so that's the lore. It's fascinating stuff. But why do they matter in the game? Let's go deeper into the mechanics. You mentioned they blur the line between Titan and Tool.
They do, and it starts with augment slots. Think of it like this. The Titan card itself has 1 or 2 empty slots printed on it. You can play a special tool card and augment directly onto your Titan. This isn't just a buff, it's a new permanent ability for your Titan until it's removed.
So you can customize your Titan mid-game. If you need defense, you slot in a shield augment. If you need offense, you slot in a weapon.
Exactly. It makes them incredibly adaptable. Then you have recursive tools. These are cards that just refuse to stay in the junkyard. A great example would be a card like Recalibrating Servo. You use it for its effect, and at the end of your turn it bounces back to your hand instead of being discarded.
Which means you're never running out of options. It creates incredible card advantage. Now explain upgrade chains. That sounds very satisfying.
It is. It's a tiered system. You might play a card called Component Basic Lens. It's cheap. Maybe it just lets you draw a card. But if you meet a condition, like having 3 tools in play, you can pay a cost to upgrade it. You swap it out for Assembly, Targeting Scope from your deck, which now lets you ignore a defender's armor.
And that can probably be upgraded again, right? Into something like System Oracle Lens, with an even more powerful effect. So your deck literally gets stronger as the game goes on.
Precisely. Now let's look at the individual Titan systems. Printheon's Schematic Recall. This lets you play tools from your junkyard with no penalty. The key here is tempo. Your opponent spends resources to destroy your best tool, and you just replay it on your next turn as if nothing happened. It's demoralizing.
And Codivance's automation loops?
This is the big brain combo mechanic. Codivance might have a passive ability that says, when you play a cast card, you may trigger the effect of a cast card in your junkyard with a cost of 2 or less. You're not playing the second card. You're just getting its effect for free. Experienced players can chain these together to create devastating game-ending turns.
And to counter that raw power, you have Revanael's self-healing systems.
The ultimate defense. If your reinforced barrier structure is destroyed, Revanael's ability might let you place it back on the field at the start of your next turn. It might come back with a damaged status token, giving it less health, but it's still there. They force the opponent to destroy the same thing over and over again.
So each Titan doesn't just have a theme, they have a completely unique mechanical engine.
That's the beauty of the Quintrinity. Let's talk about piloting them. A Printheon deck is a game of resource denial for your opponent. You overwhelm them with a never-ending stream of threats from your junkyard.
An Aeroglyn deck is all about board control and movement. You're like a chess master, constantly repositioning your pieces, attacking from unexpected angles, and keeping your opponent off balance.
Playing Codivance is like solving a puzzle. The first few turns are quiet. You're just setting up the pieces, filling your junkyard, getting the right cards in hand. Then you unleash it all in one, perfectly sequenced turn.
Vesvaldr is the opposite. It's a slow, methodical march to dominance. You build your board, piece by piece, deploying tools that are tough and resilient. You want to control the center of the field and force your opponent into bad trades.
And Revanael is the attrition specialist. Your deck is designed to survive. You heal your structures, you bring back your tools, you regenerate your Titan. You win by simply refusing to lose.
Okay, so the upsides seem huge. Let's dig deeper into the strategy. What are the specific counters to these Titans?
Their complexity is their greatest weakness. One wrong move in a Codivance combo, and your entire turn fizzles. Forgetting to use a recursion effect with Printheon can cost you the game 3 turns later. You have to be thinking multiple steps ahead.
And their reliance on tools is a clear target.
Absolutely. Cards that attack the hand, forcing discards before tools can even be played, are brutal. Rust effects that increase the energy cost of all tool cards can slow them down to a crawl. And any deck that can quickly banish cards from the junkyard bypasses the recursion engines of Printheon and Revanael entirely.
It also sounds like their scaling can be predictable. If you see a Printheon player filling their junkyard with low-cost tools, you know they're setting up for a massive schematic recall turn. It telegraphs their strategy if you know what to look for.
That's the key. You have to disrupt their setup. Don't let Vesvaldr establish that midline fortress. Pressure Codivance early so they can't assemble their combo pieces. Focus your fire to overcome Revanael's healing. Each one requires a different approach.
Narratively, these Titans symbolize something profound, evolution by intentional design. They weren't born to their path. They chose it. They built it.
In the game's story, they challenge the very definition of a Titan. Some of the older elemental Titans view them with suspicion. Are they the true future? Or are they an aberration, a shortcut to power that comes with a hidden cost?
That's a great question. They represent the core conflict of the setting, tradition versus innovation, nature versus technology. Is mastery something you are born with, or is it something you can assemble? The Quintrinity's answer is clear. They believe it can be built, and they're proving it one victory at a time.
In every match of Tools and Titans, your tradecraft unfolds in 6 simple moves: draw, charge, building, act, clash, end.
Simplicity for the novice and mastery for the Titan.